Chelsea fans, I'm back. Let's get cracking. Yes guys, I'm back with a brand new video. Welcome along if this is your first time here. I've not done many videos in the past 5 weeks. Not because Chelsea won the Champions League. That was one part of my amazing weekend. We won the Champions League Saturday night. My wife had a baby into the early hours of Monday morning, into labour Sunday night, and it's been a whirlwind. It's been a complete whirlwind, and now England's on a European final for the first time. All good things comes in threes. This video, we're going to talk about all the latest transfer updates and what I've missed over a period of time, and it's going to be a different kind of a video. So bear with me, stick with me. We're going to look at the articles, look at the rumours, discuss them briefly, but I won't hold you too long because I'll give my opinions and then you guys give yours in the comment section. Hopefully you're going to enjoy the video. So without further ado, let's make a start on what I've missed. First and foremost was this. Thomas Tuchel extended his contract to June 2024. It's the least we could do. What an outstanding achievement since he come into the club to just steady the ship, just to make us the team that we were and win the Champions League. Players that are here. Antonio Rudiger, who was integral in Chelsea's run to the Champions League win. He's a bit like Marmite. Some people like him, some people don't like him, but he was integral. And he's committed to the club despite the fact there's been a lack of contract talks. Since then, there are reports that Antonio Rudiger is looking for a £60,000 per week pay rise. And that's why contract talks have stalled. Now Germany were knocked out by England and he's going to be obviously taking a break and then coming back to pre-season. You wonder what's going to happen, if a deal will be done or if Chelsea will ask for him to lower his terms. See what happens. But Rudiger is committed to the club. So let's look at players that have departed the club already. Now this is on the Transfer Market website. Make sure you check it out. It's a great website. Fikayo Tomori joined AC Milan for €26.28 million, around 25 million. And for me, I will never understand why a deal was done. I can't understand it. I don't agree with it, but he's gone. And I think that's going to come back to bite us on the backside. Victor Moses went over to Spartak Moscow on loan, as we know, and he signed on a permanent deal, £4.5 million, which is fair play. Marco Van Inkel, remember him? He's finally signed for PSV, having been released from Chelsea on a free transfer. Danilo Pantic, another one who's hit the headlines recently. He's left Chelsea on a free transfer and signed for Partizan. And Izzy Brown, who's a member of the Chelsea Academy, been on a numerous amount of loans, was released by Chelsea and has signed for Preston in the Championship. News of a loan signing. Billy Gilmore, one of the main ones from the first team. Billy Gilmore this summer has signed for Norwich and will play for Norwich in the Premier League this season. Now, my initial reaction to that is look at what happened to Loftus-Cheek, to Conor Gallagher, and look what happened to Efan Ampadu. All three players play for teams that are relegated from the Premier League, and you wonder, is that the road we want to give? We want more players to take, to battle a Premier League survival campaign. The pressures, the sort of anxiety of trying to maintain their position in the Premier League. Is that good for players of a young age, such as Gilmore? And because you have to admit, Norwich are going to be in a relegation battle. You have to say it. Let's just be honest. The gap between newly promoted sides to established Premier League teams is huge, and I can only see Norwich battling relegation. Is that going to be something you want Billy Gilmore exposed to? What we do want him exposed to is regular first team football in the Premier League, which will be a benefit and a bonus, and will hopefully come back as a stronger player, as will Loftus-Cheek, as will Conor Gallagher, and as will Efan Ampadu. But it's just the mental side of things of being in a relegation battle. That just alarms me, concerns me. I don't know what you guys think, but we wish Billy Gilmore all the best. And as for Norwich, they've got a cracking signing there for the season. Willie Caballero was finally released by Chelsea along with Jamal Blackman, which was a shame really. We look at players that are returning back from loan at the end of last season to this season that are going to report for pre-season, and how many of these players are going to be given a chance by Thomas Tuchel in the first team squad. The likes of Baker, Danny Drinkwater, Bakayoko, Miesga, Zappacosta, Baba Rahman, Malang Sarr, Kennedy. More on Kennedy in just a second. But how many of these players are going to really get a chance under Thomas Tuchel to impress? Or will they be sold? If they will be sold, Imagine the amount of money that Chelsea can recoup to go again big in transfers this summer. So as we know, Fikayo Tomori signed for AC Milan, and there was reports earlier that AC Milan are also looking at Hakim Ziyech and Olivier Giroud. The Ziyech rumour seems to have died down somewhat, but Olivier Giroud is growing legs, and DiMarzio has confirmed today that AC Milan are close to signing Olivier Giroud with a deal expected as quickly as possible. And you have to say, for Giroud himself, it would be a great move. He hardly featured under Thomas Tuchel, having played a pivotal role since he joined Chelsea with real key important moments. He was an important part of Antonio Conte when he first signed. He stepped up on different occasions and scored important, vital goals. And for Frank Lampard's first season in the Premier League, he stepped up and scored integral, imperative goals that took us into 4th place in the Premier League. Olivier Giroud is an outstanding striker, a class act, and when he does go, it's a real shame to see. But it looks as though he will, and he's going to sign for AC Milan, to wait for that to come through. One player who impressed everyone in the Euros was Leonardo Spinazola, who unfortunately snapped his Achilles and is out for the remainder of the Euros and possibly till January, and with this injury, this Achilles injury. As a result, Roma new manager Jose Mourinho is targeting Emerson as his replacement, with reports previously that Chelsea were interested in Spinazola. As we all know, we've got Ben Chilwell, who's hardly featured for England, if at all. We've got Marcus Alonso and Emerson. 3-2 doesn't go, so expect Emerson to go. You wonder if Marcus Alonso will go as well, and if Chelsea will follow up interest in replacing a left wing back or one of those two as a backup to Ben Chilwell, or to provide competition to Chilwell. We have to wait and see. But Emerson's a target for Jose Mourinho and Roma. Kennedy, talking about him earlier, he's failed to show up for pre-season training, and it looks as though Chelsea will let him go, which is unfortunate for the guy who come in, tried to make an impact, but couldn't really sort of get any real sort of traction and a sustained run of appearances in the first team squad over a period of time. And it's just one of those investments where he come in, couldn't force his way in, bombed out on loan, and probably will be sold. West Brom are in talks to sign Chelsea midfielder Trevor Chalobah, and he's featured on loan in the Championship. He's also been out on loan in France, and it looks as though he's going to go. The comment here is another Chalobah gone, and it looks as though it's going to be the case. Someone from the academy that couldn't quite cut it at Chelsea for one reason or another, whether right or wrong, but it looks as though Chalobah will go to West Brom. So to Matt Miesga, the US international defender who has been on a number of loans over a period of time since he signed for Chelsea. The comment here is that he's ready to settle down, with the headline on the post stating that he's back for pre-season but plans to move on. Another one that is looking to go this summer. So to possible signings, and this guy is never out of the news as far as being linked with a move this summer from Dortmund, who have just sold Jadon Sancho to Man United. Chelsea are preparing a massive bid of 150 million, according to The Sun. Other revenues and other outlets are claiming it's just 135 million that Chelsea are offering, having already bid previously around 70 million offered Tammy Abraham. Believe that if you will. But in this particular report, it looks as though there's been positive talks with Haaland's camp, and whether or not Chelsea can test the resolve of Borussia Dortmund with a bid of 135 million or 150 million, it looks as though Chelsea are definitely in for Erling Haaland. Reports are he's interested. However, another striker being linked with Chelsea is Romelu Lukaku, and as per this report in Absolute Chelsea, Lukaku's already been offered terms to come and sign for Chelsea. Inter and the new manager there, Inzaghi, is looking to keep hold of their players. They have money issues, they need to sell players to raise funds, and Lukaku is reportedly one of those they're willing to sell, along with Lautaro Martinez. I wonder, this report states that Chelsea have already offered him terms. We're hearing that Lukaku wants to stay. I wonder if Lukaku coming to Chelsea is something that we're actually going to see, or if it's just complete speculation. One striker that's been offered to Chelsea is Antoine Griezmann. Barcelona have got money problems and they're trying to trim their wage bill, and Antoine Griezmann is one big earner. They signed him for 107 million in 2019, and he's 30 years old now. Now Griezmann didn't really sort of stand out in the Euros, you've got to say, for France. He never really made much of an impact, and Barcelona are looking to offload him. They've offered him to Chelsea. According to reports, And before you sort of scoff at the idea of Griezmann coming to Chelsea, Football London have posted up a comment made by Thomas Tuchel when he was a manager of PSG, having been linked with Griezmann when he first left Atletico Madrid. He eventually signed, as we know, for Barcelona. PSG were in for him with Tuchel as the manager. Tuchel's comments were interesting at the time. As reported by Football London, they say this: Griezmann can play with every team in the world. It would please any coach, but right now it's not realistic. That was back in 2019 with Tuchel at PSG. His comment, Griezmann can play with every team in the world. It would please any coach. Wonder, Barca do actually offer Griezmann to Chelsea. The extortionate wages that are going to need to be rectified, come down at least half, with reports mega money. I wonder if Chelsea will take up the option. Haaland, Lukaku, Griezmann. One other player that's not been mentioned, Harry Kane. I'll take him all day long. But let's see what happens. Could Griezmann come to Chelsea? What do you guys think? Chelsea have also been offered Milan Pjanic. Pjanic is now 31. He's been offered to Chelsea. He's been offered to a number of different teams around Europe. Again, with Barcelona trying to get players off their wage bill. Is he someone that we should be interested in signing? Not for me. Good player, but not for me. So guys, that's it from me. First video in a while, and it's very, very different to what I normally do. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. Let me know what you think of the video in the comments section below. Drop a like on the video for me, and then subscribe to the channel. And make sure you check out all the other videos on there, or the most recent videos, to get an idea and a feel for what happens on this particular channel. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. Let me know what you think in the comments section. Have a cracking evening. See you all next time.